I was just watching a rerun once again of that famous World Cup final. To me, you guys just looked like a bunch of youngsters who were up for a challenge.
I think you're right. I think that was part of the success story. It was the fact that probably underdogs as well, which makes you dangerous. I think just a bunch of guys that believed in each other, believed in a dream to win a World Cup, and believed that by winning the World Cup in South Africa, it could help other changes besides rugby.
Which it did.
Thank God for that.
In a huge way.
Thank God we were privileged to be part of that, and to win it at Ellis Park and against the old enemy, the All Blacks, on a beautiful sunny day was just great, huge privilege.
You say a bunch of guys who believed in each other. You've all moved on now into a whole multitude of businesses and all the rest of it. Some of you have made it, others have not. What's the difference? Why have you made it?
Oh, I suppose marrying the right wife. No, Jerry, you know what? I take no credit. I believe that we started the business together, the coffee business, Belinda and myself, and she believed in the dream that I had, and she left her job, and we started off without any experience, without any training, nothing. We just wanted to achieve something, build our own business, and thank God we made the right moves, and we're willing to work. And I think just dirty our hands, roll up our sleeves, climb in ourselves, and knew that we had to do the job better than the people working, for instance, in a coffee shop. I think that's a great start. And learning the hard way, stumbling, falling, crawling, swimming to survive. And I believe that's the best way, learn the hard way, and then as long as you learn and move on from there onwards. So I give credit to all the people around us and a dream, and I think the willingness to pursue that dream, not give up after the first mistake, because you are going to make mistakes.
Why coffee?
Well, running around on the muddy fields in Italy and France when I was a student playing at 6 months at a time, you do really nothing. You can't speak the language, and the French are a bunch of strange people. When you speak English, it's actually a foreign language to them, and they actually use it only in self-defense to start off with. But then you sit around coffee shops and pubs and bars, and as you know, the bars in Europe are very different than the ones we have here. It becomes a family thing. People take their kids there, and they have really good food besides some great beer and wine and good coffee. And I thought, well, if we can create this kind of atmosphere, that's something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to get involved in the food trade. Didn't know coffee. And I started drinking the espressos in Italy, and because you have no choice, and because of the cold. And got back over here, we started our own coffee shop, not with the idea to franchise at all, just to have our own business. And I roasted our own coffee on the premises, and people started asking, can we buy this for our homes? Can we buy it for our offices? And the demand grew, and we thought, well, let's start our own roastery. And so it carried on. And in the end, people said, but we like this, what you're doing. Don't you want a franchise? I said, what does that mean? No, you open more that look the same and so forth. And yeah, that's where it started.
Okay, firstly, how many have you got now?
We've got 44 stores currently.
44 Wissenhofs?
Yeah.
Where was the first one, Kobus?
Started off in the East Rand Mall. Right. Actually, my wife will hate me for this. But he put me up to this. First and ever blind date I went on, and I swore I'll never go on blind dates. Yeah. I'm married. Thank God for that. Went out on a date, wandered around in the shopping centre, saw this little coffee shop tucked away in the corner. Nobody there except the old geezer sitting behind the counter with a radio, and the two of us. Had coffee. I said, it's great coffee. So the product is right. There's other issues here. So if you can turn it around, the product you have, you halfway there. I said to him, is this your store? No, he says, it's 2 sons. And I said, would you like to sell? He says, I'll get back to you, give me your number. He phoned me a year later. Do you still remember me? I said, yes. He said, well, it's in the market. He said how much he wanted. We scraped and we begged and we had a couple of bucks together, bought the store. He says, there's the keys. Well done and good luck. Have a nice day.
Yeah, good luck. Bye-bye.
Correct. The next day, I didn't know what a muffin looked like. Where do you buy it? How to serve it? And I said to Belinda, you know what? It's now survival time. We have to swim. And that's where the hard work started, But hard work, extremely hard work, but absolutely rewarding.
And how long ago was that?
About 10 years. We're 10 years old.
It's gone very quickly, eh?
It actually has. But
44 stores in 10 years, that's an achievement.
But you know, Jerry, unfortunately part of this game, and you know all about it, is there's trial and error, and you sort of become a bit more streetwise as you carry on, and you learn the shorter routes and the right routes and so forth. And yes, unfortunately, also part of this game is sometimes you're forced to close a store down if somebody doesn't want to toe the line. The guys, hurt your brand. You have no choice. Then the guy must put up his own name. But we've gotten to a point now where we've streamlined, we've just rebranded. We're a true South African brand now. The new look is wonderful and very well accepted out there. And we've also sort of diverged, opening up smaller versions called the Wiesnoff Refill, which is a grab-and-go concept, 30 square meters. And especially in the office environment, it's wonderful. I mean, for instance, to talk about the money markets, we've got a really great relationship with Absa Bank, where we put in all the regional offices where people just walk downstairs, they grab a salmi, grab a Tramazzini, a nice espresso, a juice, and go back to the office. They don't have to leave the environment to go to a restaurant.
Now, that then brings me, let's go back to rugby then. Because how much of your success in business has been built on the relationships that you draw through from rugby? You mentioned ABSA, who are the sponsors of the Currie Cup. You do a lot of work with television, so you must be mingling with those sort of people. How important are those sort of contacts, Kobus?
You know very well that it does help you when you knock on the door, that the door will open.
Yeah.
But then it becomes harder because you still have to keep that door open and work even harder because you're under a magnifying glass. People look at you twice now and says, because you're a rugby player or a hockey player, whatever you do, it's easier for you. It actually becomes more difficult. It does help, but then you've got to maintain that. I think in a very simple, between life, sport and business, there's no difference, meaning the basic principles apply. If you want to be successful, you have to follow the old test and try it and test it. You've got to go back to basics: discipline, commitment, hard work, the willingness to learn, sacrifice your own time. Those things which a lot of people, and by choice, Jerry, you know that, by choice, you either do that or you don't. But restaurant trade is one of the toughest, if not the toughest trade in the world.
Let's come to your lifestyle then, because people see you on television on a Saturday afternoon. They see you on your rugby show
Monday
nights on SuperSport, and they say, okay, well, he's got some coffee shops. What is your lifestyle? Because there must be a hell of a lot that you pack into this thing. You know what?
My wife always says I'm trying to do too much and involved in too many things, but I'm preaching to the converted. You've been through all of this. I don't know you know what it is like. I simply believe, and I thank the good Lord every day for opportunities. And I believe, sadly, a lot of people in life don't recognize opportunities. I don't recognize all of them, but if it comes my way and it's sort of the gut feel is there and it looks good, I want to try it. And I would rather say one day, I've tried everything. Maybe not always successful, but I've tried everything. I've used all the opportunities. Thank God they came my way. And then rather say, if only I maybe went the extra mile there. It's too late. They might never come your way. Like on the sports field. Grab the opportunity. When the try is there, it might never come your way again. That's the end of the story. Loss of a World Cup, loss of a Currie Cup, Super 15 title, those things. So chances, you've got to use them.
How do you recognize chances?
I think you become more streetwise down the line when you bumped your heads a couple of times very hard and you've cried a bit and felt sorry for yourself and so forth. Then you sort of learn, as long as you learn. And I think listen to advice. I see myself as an entrepreneur. I could never sit behind a desk and work from 9 to 5. It's just not me. I mean, besides not knowing how that works. I must get one of those.
No, don't.
So I just think that, I want to go out there. I want to try new things, and I love people. I want to mingle with people, learn from people. I love listening to people, learn from their experiences and so forth. And I think an entrepreneur is a different animal than other people. Not better people, not at all. Just somebody that wants to try new things all the time. And if something works and it works well, I want to move on because I get bored easily.
Do you then have people around you who can catch the balls that you throw up in the air? Because you say you get bored very quickly. People like that tend to go, hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we do this? But then you need people who can catch those balls.
Very, very vital what you just said now. It's so incredibly important. It's hard to find those people, Jerry. I mean, it's very tough. Sometimes you get, and especially if you're like me, I'm very... a very impatient person by nature, and I know that, and I apologize for that. But you know, if it's sometimes frustrating if you see something and the others don't, or somebody doesn't, and maybe you see something and it's the wrong thing. It doesn't matter. You know, at least you've got to rely on people. It's a team sport. Our twin brother Bruce Fordyce always, I always say to Brucey, listen, the Bible warns us against guys like you, the marathon runners. And I quote, only thieves and muggers run when not chased. It's the marathon oaks. I can never be an individual sportsman. I'm a team animal. I love the challenge of being forced to rely on somebody else and him on you, and then to put that together. It's incredible. You can get 15 oaks on a rugby side with wonderful talent individually, but they never get to the top. And then you get oaks, no big names, but they've got a hunger to achieve. And then when they click and have that gees, that team spirit, it's the most beautiful thing in the world to see.
I want to come back to that team spirit in just a moment.